Alright, what is good? What is happening? How's everyone today? My name is Chuck, and welcome back to a brand new video. Alright, today, fellas, we're going to be jumping into my top 5 guns you guys should be using here on Rebirth Island. I like to keep this series consistent on the channel because it allows me to give you guys a variety of different setups y'all can use and really have a lot of fun with here on Rebirth Island. Hey, before we get farther into the video, I want to give a shout out to the Noti Gang. If y'all want to be featured in a future vid, make sure y'all drop a like, subscribe to all the notifications turned on, comment down below Noti Gang, and watch the video all the way through. With that being said, let's hop into these setups. Alright, so hopping in this here, this is going to be my setup for the MP40. Let's break this all down for you guys. First thing on here is going to be that recoil booster, and this is going to be the new and improved MP40 setup, by the way, that everyone's been running here. So if you guys are seeing it in pubs, this is going to be exactly what it is. We have the recoil booster on here like normal, so this is going to increase our fire rate, which drastically helps out with our TTK, so I'd highly recommend this. After that, in the barrel section, we got the VDD 189mm short barrel for increased damage range and limb damage. We're not worried too much about the headshot damage, though, with this one. That's entirely okay. I'd definitely recommend y'all run this one here, though, over any of these other barrels in here. We used to run the Grau barrel, and that was the way to go, but we definitely do not run that anymore. We run exclusively the short barrel on this gun. After that, though, in the underbarrel section, we have the M1941 hand stop. There's also our recoil control and accuracy, very much so needed on this weapon. I'd highly recommend y'all run this one exclusively. The Mark VI skeletal is not going to be that great just because it only helps the ADS speed, and the Carver foregrip is not something I personally really ever use on the MP40. Definitely not anywhere nowadays. Only the M1941 hand stop. After that, though, in the magazine section, we have the 7.62 Garanko 45 round mag. This is kind of what we were running on this beforehand, and I'd still definitely say you should be running the Garanko mag on this anyways. This is definitely the way to go here, and I would say that like this is like the go-to magazine for everything nowadays on the MP40, and it kind of has been for a little while. After that, in the ammunition, we have lengthened here, and I would normally say to run hollow point, but ever since that Season 2 Reloaded update, they did nerf hollow point, and it's definitely not nearly as good anymore or viable. And incendiary was what we were running before that, but that got nerfed, so we moved to hollow point. Now that hollow point's nerfed, we're going to run lengthened. You guys can try running frangible, but I don't think it does all that much. I would just say to run lengthened here and kind of call it a day at that. Or if you want to, I've seen some people try to run incendiary again, and you can try and test that out. But for me, lengthened is the way to go. After that, though, in the rear grip section, we have the stipple grip here for recoil recovery and initial firing recoil. We definitely need this on this gun here with this build in specific, not with the previous one, because that barrel does definitely not do as much recoil control as the other ones did. And for our optic here, we have the slate reflector. I see some people really enjoy running the iron sights on this thing, and they're on like one of the Grau iron sights, but for me personally, I just prefer to run the slate reflector, and that seems to be like what really is effective for me and helping me stay on target. So I'd say to go ahead and run the slate reflector, but you can definitely run the iron sights and be entirely okay with that. In the stock section, we have the Grau 33M folding here for sprint to fire speed and movement speed. This is really going to help you guys out here in terms of just being overall mobile. I wouldn't necessarily recommend the no stock on this build in particular, just because that recoil control, like that negative, that con right there, and the accuracy con, that's going to be a little too much here for this specific build. So the classic folding is the way you want to go. After that, in the perk section, we have brace here for initial firing recoil. Like I said, that's why you definitely don't want to run the no stock attachment, just because, like, we definitely need to be able to control the recoil. And so the brace can help us do that. And then for perk 2, we have quick here for sprint speed, overall making us just a little bit faster when we're running around the map. This is a really good build here for the MP40. Absolutely love this thing. Definitely top tier meta, and I'd recommend for y'all to try this one out. Now for my next gun here, we're going to be taking a look at the STG. I get a lot of comments about like what I run on my STG, so let's hop into this thing here. First on this is going to be the MX silencer here for sound suppression, vertical recoil control, and horizontal recoil control. They did change around what the MX silencer actually does in one of the more recent updates, so that's why we're running the MX silencer here on this instead of something like, let's say, the F8 stabilizer or potentially the recoil booster. After that, in the barrel section, we got this VDD 760mm 05B barrel. This is going to be a highly accurate and controllable barrel. This makes this thing have virtually no recoil, and we absolutely love that. After that, in the underbarrel section, we got the M1941 hand stop. Of course, here, like we run in the MP40, we're going to be doing the same thing over here for recoil control and accuracy, and obviously that negative on the hipfire accuracy is not something we're really concerned with here on this gun. It's just not. In the magazine section, we got the 7.62 Garanko 50 round mag. Absolutely love this thing on this weapon. It's got a great fire rate, and it hits really hard. I just really been running this here quite a bit recently, and you guys have been asking me in my videos, what are you running on your STG? So this is what I'm running on my STG. I run this mag pretty much exclusively as of right now. In the ammunition side of things, we got the lengthened here for bullet velocity. Definitely need this here because, this is what we ran in all of our ARs kind of previously anyways. Previous any updates, we just run lengthened because, we're trying to use this at a medium to longer range. So the more we can make our bullets hit at that longer range quicker, obviously the better. In the rear grip section, we have leather grip here for ADS speed and aiming stability. I would normally go with something like fabric grip here, but this reduces your accuracy, and I'm not really too big of a fan of reducing accuracy, and we don't need more hipfire accuracy on this gun, so I'd rather just have no cons and get a great rear grip here in the leather grip than use something like the fabric and start, you know, chalking my accuracy, and I don't really like that. In the optics section, we have the G16 2.5x. This really helps out here for giving us a real clear sight, a clear picture of our target. And I'd say for you guys to run this one. I've seen other people, like I've talked about in my previous videos, go down here and run something like the 3 to 6 times the SVT, whoever it is. I probably just passed over it. Yeah, the SVT 40 PU scope, the 3 to 6x. That's kind of a mouthful, but I see people try to run this thing, and I personally don't really care to. Specifically on Rebirth Island, I'd rather just run the G16 2.5 and kind of call it a day. In our stock section, we have the VDD 27 Precision for horizontal recoil control and ADS speed. This is definitely a really great stock here. I would not expect, normally speaking, to get ADS speed out of a stock here along with recoil control. It usually doesn't go hand in hand, but for whatever reason it does for this thing. And you only get a penalty of movement speed and hipfire accuracy, which is not really something we're too concerned with. So this is pretty much a massive W for when I take a look at this. In our perks, though, we have Vital here for our first one, increased torso damage. If you're running like a damage mag on this weapon, the Vital does not stack with the damage mag. So because this is not a damage mag, we're only running something that's going to increase our fire rate and stuff. Having Vital on here to kind of make up for a little bit of that lack of damage really does help out, and I'd recommend for you guys to do this. I used to run something like Sleight of Hand or Focus, but because I'm actually running this here, I tried Vital out and it works really well. I've pretty much been sticking exclusively to Vital, and I think this gun reloads fast enough as is, so you really don't need Sleight of Hand. In perk 2, though, we have Fully Loaded here because this is going to increase our maximum starting ammo capacity. Really good for those middle game loadouts. If you're trying to come back on Rebirth, you know, everyone knows that the end game loadout comes in, maybe you've died previously, you can't get back your original guns. If you can go and grab, you know, a loadout that's got full, you know, ammo in the AR, that's always really good, and it definitely increases your chances of survival quite significantly. So that's the reason we are going to be running this. This is my full build here for the STG. Hope y'all enjoy this one. Absolutely love the STG. It's definitely my top tier AR right now between this and like the C58. I absolutely love using this thing. All right, now let's take a look at the well gun. Y'all really seem to love the well gun here, and I actually been using this a lot on the channel as of recent, so let's hop into this. First thing on this is going to be that beautiful recoil booster here for that fire rate. Of course, we run this on all of our Vanguard SMGs. After that, in the barrel section, we got the 320mm SA shrouded barrel. This really helps out with our recoil control, and I definitely say this is going to make this thing a lot more of a laser. I'd say it is well worth any of the cons you happen to get with it. In the underbarrel section, we got the M1941 hand stop for recoil control and accuracy. Absolutely beautiful, and this thing works just like a charm. No real reason to run anything else. After that, in the magazine section, we got the 7.62 Garanko 40-round mag. We always run the Garanko on this thing. I mean, I've seen people try to run the 9mm 64. I mean, it definitely does, you know, work, right? But I would just always say to run the 40 on this thing and just kind of call it a day because it works incredibly well. It's tried and true, and it's proven. After that, in the ammunition, you can either run hollow point or you can run something like lengthened. I've actually ran hollow point a couple of times, even since the update. I don't know how much they actually nerfed it indeed, but I would say that lengthened or hollow point, you can kind of give it a shot. It doesn't seem like it makes that much of a difference on this gun in particular, as opposed to some of the other guns out there. So go ahead and run either lengthened or hollow point. It's kind of up to you guys here. Just try it out and see what works best for you. After that, in the rear grip section, we have fabric grip here, of course, because this is an SMG. Want to maximize our mobility, and we can lose just a tad bit of accuracy, and that's entirely okay. In the optics section, though, we have slate reflector here, increase that magnification. I just like this over the iron sights. It makes it for me to be able to acquire my targets a lot more easily, and it makes it so that I can just see stuff, you know, a lot better. I much prefer that. The iron sights on this thing really aren't all that great. I mean, the MP40s, like, you can kind of tolerate and deal with, but I can deal with like the ground loot, you know, iron sights, but I much prefer, like, anytime I find a ground loot version that has a slate reflector on it, like, I'm picking that up. You know, I'm using that any day of the week. In the stock section, we got the remove stock here. This is really good for our overall mobility. This does, of course, give you some cons here, but I do believe the mobility stuff here outweighs the cons. And then for our perk, we have acrobatic, we have movement speed and sprinting movement speed. This works out really nicely. I love being able to move around super quick with this gun, just kind of be able to fly around the map. And then perk 2 for quick here for sprint speed. This can make us unbelievably quick here. You know, just, I guess I didn't really have a better, you know, vocabulary word for that one, but it's gonna make us move around the map very nicely. and I like this. So just definitely give this setup a try. I've been using a lot in my videos. For those of you guys who've been watching them regularly, appreciate you. But this is the exact setup I've been running that thing. All right, next up, we're going to be taking a look at the Grau 5.56. I absolutely love the Grau, so let's hop into this thing. First thing on this is going to be the monolithic suppressor here for sound suppression and damage range. This is the only suppressor you should really ever be running on any of these Modern Warfare ARs, or even the SMGs or LMGs. There's no real reason for you to run anything like the lightweight. Always either use the tactical until you get to the monolithic suppressor. I know a lot of people are trying to rank guns up still, so the tactical is the way to go until you get to the monolithic pretty much exclusively. After that, in the barrel section, we have the Tempest 26.4 Archangel. I know I've had a couple people in the comment section try to debate with me on the Archangel versus the Nexus. You know, what's the benefit, what's the disadvantage, so on and so forth. And I'll tell you what, right now, the Archangel is going to be 110% more effective. Maybe not literally 110%, but for me, it feels like that because I can use this. This gun is an absolute laser beam. It's beautiful, that recoil control. The iron sights are incredible, and it just feels like you're able to hit a lot of shots very accurately. It comes down to not necessarily like what are the stats on the, you know, on the table here, you know, what's the exact breakdown, but how does it actually feel in game? How does it perform in game? It's more of it got to be a practical application. You know, what's the in-game use of it as opposed to, you know, what is the statistic advantage, blah 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 blah. Like, you know, it's not going to do any good if something's statistically incredible if you can't actually make use out of it in game. And this is going to be a lot more effective in game as opposed to the Nexus barrel via like iron sights and clearness. There's a whole bunch of other stuff, so I'd recommend this exclusively. In the underbarrel section, though, we have the Commando foregrip here. We just need a little bit of that recoil stabilization, not a lot, so I wouldn't really recommend anything else. I mean, I've seen people try to use the Merc or the Ranger. That's just a bit excessive, especially for the Grau. You definitely don't need that. In the laser, we got the TAC laser here for ADS speed, aiming stability, and aim walking steadiness. This is going to make a lot of sense to use this thing just because we want to be able to increase our ADS speed. And of course, having better aiming stability is always a good thing. It's going to make it even more of a laser beam than it was beforehand. And then to finish off this build here, we have the 60-round magazine because, you know, I'm a 60-round magazine kind of guy and I absolutely love that mag. So I'd just say to go use the 60-round mag on this gun and y'all will be good. And this is going to be a fantastic build using the Grau 5.56. This thing slaps on Rebirth Island. Give it a shot. I personally love the Grau and I need to start using it a little bit more often. All right, for our final build here, we're going to be taking a look at the Vargo with an AR style build. So let's actually hop into this thing here. First thing on this is going to be that beautiful Grau suppressor. We definitely want to make sure we can utilize this as a true AR. So the Grau suppressor is going to be the way to go. If you're trying to make this into a hybrid, like I have done previously, we'd use the regular suppressor, but the Grau is the way to go for this one. After that, though, in the barrel section, we get that 18.6 Task Force barrel here. This is really going to make it so that our recoil is very manageable, makes us more effective in range, and we absolutely love that. So I'd say this is by far, out of any of the barrels in here, the best one to go with. It's also probably like the last unlock, so that's just kind of how it is, but you know, it's definitely the best one to go with. In the underbarrel section, we got the Spetsnaz grip here for vertical and horizontal recoil control, which is absolutely fantastic, and I really think that this is a solid grip to use on this gun. I don't really go for anything else. I only ever use the Spetsnaz grip on this thing. If I do use this as an AR, I kind of more often go for this as like a hybrid AR SMG, not necessarily as a true AR, but this is the AR build I rock whenever I do use it like that. In the magazine section, we got the Spetsnaz 60-round magazine. Though I know sometimes they said they fixed the reload glitch, though it doesn't necessarily work perfectly. So you guys can run the VDV, my bad, 60-round fast mag, and just to kind of negate some of the effects of that, you know, magazine reload glitch. But if you feel like the glitch is, you know, perfectly acceptable, or it's just quick enough for you as is, use the 60-round magazine and don't waste any more of your, you know, ADS time on the fast mag as opposed to the 60-round, you know, just by itself. And for our final attachment here with the Axle Arms 3 times, this is going to be beautiful. Absolutely love this thing. Definitely my go-to, you know, optic for any of the Cold War ARs. I use this pretty much exclusively on all of them, and that's gonna be that. This is my full build here for this gun. I don't know if this variant here works, by the way, yet in Warzone. I haven't actually tried it out just because it's been glitched for so long, but that's going to be it. If you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you give it a like, subscribe if you are brand new, turn on those post notifications, and just on Triple Cat, don't be Randy, and I'm out. Peace.